I, 46 female, am the mother of a 24-year-old woman from my first marriage and 2 boys, both tweens, from my second marriage. When I was married to my first husband, he was unemployed for almost all of our marriage. We lived in a house his father owned, paid our bills, bought us the car we drove, sent my husband money to take care of our family, etc. I was young, stupid, and in love. That's my only excuse for living like that. When my daughter turned 5, I started pushing my husband to work, and I got myself a job. He didn't want to go. Things escalated and ended up in us getting divorced. He got full custody, while I got visitations every other Saturday. His dad hired a good lawyer, but I couldn't do that. And I also had to pay child support. I used to work a full-time and 2 part-time jobs to afford my 1-bedroom apartment, as well as the child support payments. Then a year after our divorce, my ex married a new woman. There was a lot of child alienation from them, and sadly I couldn't afford to take them to court again. By the time my daughter turned 14, she was calling me by my name and calling her stepmom, Mom. I tried my best to hold on to my kid. I went to all the events I could. I planned fun days with the limited funds I had. And even when I couldn't afford to turn on the heat, I still made sure to get her a Christmas gift. Sadly, by the time she turned 16, she no longer wanted anything to do with me. I took them to court, but they did nothing. And the last time I saw her, she said some awful things. I was defeated, but I decided I no longer had a daughter, since that was what she wanted. I moved away, met a good man, married him, and had 2 wonderful kids. Last year, my daughter reached out. She was sorry, and she said that she wanted to reconnect. I was hesitant and resentful, but I still talked to her once a week. Suddenly, she asked if she could spend Christmas with us. She wanted to get to know her brothers. I told her that we were not at a stage where I could allow that. It got heated, but I told her that I couldn't trust her with my kids and that I still wasn't 100% sure that I wanted our relationship to become more. She says that I'm the idiot and that I'm punishing her for things she had no control over, and that I know what she told me and how she reacted to me was a direct result of her father's manipulation. Am I the idiot? Edit. My kids are adopted. She's my only biological child. I'm just used to saying that I had kids. They are technically my late sister-in-law's children, but I raised them this last 7 years. My goodness, how did a man with no job get full custody of a child? Feels like there's a lot of missing context here. The courts don't generally grant custody to fathers, let alone unemployed ones. Also, what happened to make her reach out to you? What opened her eyes to her father's actions? Apparently, she met a guy, and while telling him about her past and her deadbeat mom, he played devil's advocate. She thought it through and reached out to me. I gave her some more context. It was a small town and my father-in-law was well-connected and rich. I was barely over the poverty line and not from the same town. It pays when the judge and every other person went to the same high school. I was lucky to get visitations. Honestly, you are the idiot. I was young, stupid, and in love. That's my only excuse for living like that. Your daughter was also young and surrounded by manipulative people who turned her against you. You were able to snap out of it and work hard to make a life for yourself. Your daughter, who hurt your feelings when she was literally a child, seems to have snapped out of it as well, but you offer her no grace. Disagree. OP, after hearing her daughter tell her that she wanted nothing further to do with her and hearing her daughter replace her with her stepmom, OP is understandably reluctant to rush back into things. In case you've yet to notice, Christmas is 3 days away. Are you guys really calling OP the idiot because she doesn't want to suddenly put reconciliation on the fast track? Also, notice how the daughter reacts when she's told no. Any request that comes with penalties for a refusal isn't a request. It's a demand. The only idiot in this story is the daughter. She cannot accept no for an answer, and she blames others for her actions. Even if she was manipulated by her father, she's 24 and old enough to understand that her actions have consequences and how hurtful her actions were. A mature person would realize that people need to heal in their own time. She might be 24, but she still acts like a child. So I, female 30, live with my spouse, female 31. We have 2 kids, twins, young male child and young female child. Both of our kids go to the same school. My wife and I both work full-time and share housework and mind the kids 50-50. Recently, we both changed our work hours, which changed our routines. We both work certain jobs that can have all sorts of weird hours. My wife used to work night shifts, but now works a 9 to 5. She's not very happy about it, as she's always been more of a night owl and hates getting up early. I'm now working early shifts, 5 to 2 most days. My wife has to get the kids ready for school and drive them there on her way to work. It balances out though, because I can take them home after work and they finish school at 3:30. They need to be at school at 8 a.m. or they're considered late. I understand that it's an awkward time for my wife to get them there when her workplace is very close to the school, but that's just life things. Before the kids broke for the holidays, I got an email from the school's principal explaining that our kids have been consistently late for school over the past few weeks and that it sparked a lot of concern. As they mentioned it to me, I knew the kids had been late a few times, but I had no idea it was every day. Of course, they aren't keen on going to school. They'd much rather play outside or watch TV like most kids, so it didn't bother them too much. He explained that he and some of the other teachers have talked to my wife about it a couple of times at drop-off, but nothing has changed. He said that we need to attend a meeting with him when school starts up again. I showed my wife the email and asked her what was going on. She thought it was funny and said it's not a big deal if our kids are 30 to 40 minutes late to school, and it's not like they're in high school yet. She said she likes to sleep in and that there's no reason for her to leave earlier when she starts work at 9, and she doesn't want to go to work early or go back home. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her she needed a reality check and that she was putting our kids at a disadvantage and that it must be embarrassing for them to come to school late every day. She said the school shouldn't start so early and that she's getting them to school. So what's the big deal? I told her to stop being lazy, leave the house early in the morning and grow up. She said if it's such a problem, I should change my schedule and take the kids to school myself. I was ready to say yes, because getting 2 kids ready in the morning is hard, but 30 to 40 minutes every day and laughing about it because she likes to sleep in? Not the idiot. Holy cow, this is a big deal, and she's putting her selfishness above the well-being of your children. She really needs a reality check. Why does she say you need to change your schedule? Why doesn't she work on changing hers, since she doesn't like it anyway? Why can't she just drop the kids off and then take the time to get herself breakfast until it's time for her to go to work? Wouldn't it be easier to switch the kids to bus rides or to carpool with another family to school? There are so many options, and she doesn't even seem interested in trying. So yeah, I'd say lazy is a fair assessment. She needs to get her act together for the sake of the kids. My daughter, toddler, just got light-up princess heels from a family member. She loves these shoes and wants to wear them everywhere. She wore them to daycare on Tuesday, and when I picked my daughter up, she was wearing a pair of socks from school instead of her shoes. They asked me to send acceptable shoes in her backpack if she wants to wear her heels. When I got home, I checked the school's dress code, and there was absolutely nothing about shoes, except that the kids have to be able to comfortably play in them. My daughter's very comfortable in her heels. She wears them to the park, the grocery store, and pretty much every time we leave the house, and she never complains. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with her wearing them to school. She wore them again to school yesterday. Shortly after I dropped her off, I got a call from her teacher saying that I need to drop off a new pair of shoes, but I was already at work, so I couldn't get her a new pair. When I picked her up, it was the same thing. Her heels were in her backpack and she was wearing socks. The teacher told me they couldn't let her out for recess because of her shoes. I was livid when I was told that she couldn't play at recess because of her shoes. First of all, she's worn those shoes to the park, so I know she can play in them. Second, it's not her fault that I couldn't drop off a new pair of shoes, so I don't see why she had to be punished for it. I want to pull her out of this daycare and find a better one, but my husband is refusing because he has kids from a previous marriage, went there and they all love it. I personally think they're treating my daughter unfairly and that we should look for a better daycare. Am I the idiot? My little darling can walk with them when we go to the store. Surely she can run around with all of her little friends on their large play structures and slippery grass with them. You are the idiot, OP. They asked you to send alternative shoes if she wears heels, but you didn't. It doesn't matter that she hasn't been injured yet in little heels. The possibility of it happening is much higher than in proper playground footwear, sneakers. They're looking out for her safety and protecting themselves from a medical lawsuit. Pulling her out isn't helping her understand that rules are there for a reason. On top of this, there are foot development issues to putting a toddler in heels. I would research it before I let her wear them daily, especially because light-up princess heels are even less likely to offer proper support than other heels. Lady, wake up. Those aren't even shoes. Those are toys. You know, dress up, make-believe. Not something she should wear and play in and walk in for hours. They have no support for her feet. I can't imagine a parent being this upset over a daycare looking out for the safety of their child. And by all means, change your daycare. I'm sure the employees will be glad to see you go. My daughter and I have had our fair share of difficulties. We get along better now, but since I don't see her as often as I'd like to, the times when we do see each other are important. She usually celebrates Christmas with my family since her mom is an agnostic Jew, and it's an important time for us. My daughter was previously my son and came out as transgender to me 2 years ago. I honestly blame the last Christmas she spent with my family for her telling her mother so long before me. I think she has been uncomfortable with my family and missed the past few years because my family reacted badly about her coming out. They were saying things to her that weren't right, especially since she was really just a kid, and she reacted by crying and running out, which escalated everything. At first, I was excited to have her agree to Christmas with my family again, but now I realize what happened is going to be that much worse. I don't want to see my daughter crying again, and I want to improve our relationship. My solution seems to be causing more issues. I thought I could celebrate Christmas with my family without her, and then do a separate Christmas celebration with her. Edit. I even told her she could bring her boyfriend, something she would not be able to do if she went to my family's Christmas. The issue is, the only other days around that time that I'm free, I'm doing Christmas with my fiance's family, and then the guys, who've been friends since high school, and I have this tradition that I can't skip. My fiance also struggles to be accepting all of this, so I can't bring my daughter to her family's Christmas either. My daughter was upset because I had talked about how great our Christmas was going to be since we hadn't seen each other in a while. I said that we're still going to have a great Christmas, and honestly, a better one without my family. She says she doesn't care about not being able to celebrate with my family. She says she wanted to celebrate with me, and I told her she still will. She started saying that she's always the lowest priority in my life and that she doesn't want to try to have a relationship with me anymore. For any other dads out there, you can understand why I'm writing here. That crap hurt, but there's nothing else I can really do. So would I be the idiot? I thought she was just being sensitive, but typically when your kid is being sensitive, it's still important. I know that from experience. Buddy, your daughter's told you she's the lowest priority in your life because you've shown her that. That crap hurts? That's because it's true, and you know it. You are the idiot. Ask your daughter what she needs from you, and do it, if you want this to be right. You are her father. Act like it. Stand up for her. And why are you engaged to someone who doesn't accept your daughter? What is wrong with you? I hope your daughter goes no contact with you and finds adults in her life that actually love and care for her. This response makes me sad. I think the dad has a lot of improvements to make, but he's reaching out and trying. We all have to try to do better, and I commend him for doing so in his current capacity. He feels something is wrong, and he's searching for that validation. Should his daughter's reasoning be enough? Absolutely. But he's clearly torn by hearing his family and his fiance's family. Cut him some slack. At least he's trying, and he's not a deadbeat who cut her off or still refers to her as his son. This is the perfect person to try to encourage through love and education. To hope his daughter goes no contact? How sad for both of them. Sorry, but his family showed bigoted hate towards his child. He's not trying. He's being a spineless idiot who's trying to please everyone, and in doing so, will lose the most important person to him, and rightly so. You are the idiot, OP, and your cowardice makes my blood boil. I wish I could take your child and raise them with love and acceptance. Some friends were in town yesterday doing some shopping and they stayed the night. When I helped them with their bags, I saw they left stuff in their car. I told them to bring it in, but they insisted it was fine. So I told them again to just bring everything in because I read that some vehicles were broken into at the mall this past week, and they told me it was fine. I convinced them to bring a few of the bags from the back seat, and they moved the stuff out of the back window. I tried taking a few more bags inside, but they told me not to. And then they laughed and told me I was paranoid because I live on a quiet street. Later, my friend's husband told my husband about how I pestered them and made jokes all night about me needing a night patrol, whatever the heck that means. He seemed to find it hilarious, but it was making me angry. When we got back home, I told my friend that she should just bring everything in and that I would help her. She told me not to worry about it, and then had the nerve to ask if I was okay because I seemed stressed. I woke up this morning to my friend's husband yelling for her. Their car was broken into, and everything is gone. Likely most of the stuff is replaceable, but his work laptop and phone were both taken. When he got off the phone with the police, he ranted about us not having security cameras and that we should have told them what the situation was like in our neighborhood. He went on and on all morning. My husband and I were both apologetic, and I really do feel bad. When they were leaving, he said they wouldn't be back until we got security cameras, and that he doesn't know how we can stand living somewhere so risky. And I just snapped. I told him we don't need security cameras because we aren't dumb enough to leave crap in our cars overnight, and that I told them to bring their stuff in, and that they're lucky more stuff wasn't stolen because I made them bring it inside. He seemed shocked and just got into the car while my friend hugged me goodbye. Earlier, I texted my friend to ask if they made it home all right, and that I felt awful their car was broken into. She responded that they made it home and that these things happen. An hour later, she texted me a long message about kicking someone when they were down and that real friends would have offered to replace their stuff. I'm stunned. I hadn't even considered giving them money. We don't live in an unsafe neighborhood, but it's common sense not to leave stuff in your car. I'm confused about how they think we're responsible. I do agree that I shouldn't have snapped, but I feel like I'm being blamed when I had already warned them. My husband doesn't think it's a big deal and finds what I said funny, but my friends are clearly angry, and I'm angry too, so I'm having a hard time assessing if I'm an idiot. Not the idiot. Wait, they left a computer in their car? You warned them and tried to help them. Maybe if they had a car alarm or cameras in their car, that would have been helpful. But what would cameras do? Show the thieves running away with the stuff with smiles? Yeah, a computer. The husband now needs to explain to his employer how he had the work computer stolen. And if the company looks at the report and sees it was in the car overnight, I'm sure they'll be thrilled. Friends' car insurance or personal property insurance is who should pay, not you. Offer to replace their stuff? No. These folks are ridiculous. That would be appropriate only if you had insisted it was perfectly safe and fine to leave their things in the car. Usually it's best to avoid "I told you so," but since your friends blamed you for their stupidity, which you had warned them about, it's perfectly warranted in this situation. And this guy is bad news. Not only does he not take you seriously, but he also blames you for his mistake that you warned him about multiple times and then expects you to pay for his negligence. He can't take any responsibility for his decisions. He sounds like a narcissist. OP, your friend isn't safe with him.